Today, we embark on a journey into the profound and influential philosophy of Bertrand Russell. Born in 1872, Russell's intellectual prowess spanned the 20th century, leaving an indelible mark on various branches of philosophy. Before delving into the intricacies of his thought, let's briefly acquaint ourselves with the man behind the philosophy. Bertrand Russell lived through a tumultuous period in history, marked by two world wars and sweeping intellectual movements. His early life, characterized by academic excellence and a deep interest in mathematics, set the stage for a philosophical career that would revolutionize our understanding of language, logic, and the nature of reality. Now, as we unfold the layers of Russell's philosophy, it's crucial to situate his ideas within the broader historical and intellectual context. Imagine the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a time of paradigm shifts in science, the advent of analytic philosophy, and the lingering influence of British empiricism. Russell's philosophical endeavors were deeply intertwined with these intellectual currents, shaping and reshaping his thoughts over the years. As we embark on this intellectual journey, it's imperative to understand the roots of Russell's philosophy. Two main tributaries fed into the river of his thought: his empiricist inclinations, and his profound contributions to the realm of logic. Russell's early philosophical musings were deeply influenced by the empiricist tradition, a cornerstone of British philosophy. The empiricists, including luminaries such as John Locke and George Berkeley, posited that knowledge is derived from sensory experience. Russell, building on this tradition, sought to analyze and refine the empirical foundations of knowledge. Simultaneously, Russell's mathematical prowess played a pivotal role in shaping his philosophical trajectory. His collaboration with Alfred North Whitehead resulted in the monumental work Principia Mathematica, a groundbreaking exploration into the foundations of mathematics. This foray into logic not only earned him acclaim in mathematical circles, but also laid the groundwork for his later philosophical inquiries. In our exploration of Russell's early influences, we witness the convergence of empiricism and logic, laying the groundwork for the development of his analytical philosophy. As we navigate through the intricacies of his thought, keep in mind these formative influences that shaped Russell's philosophical landscape. Next, we delve into the heart of Russell's philosophy: his groundbreaking contributions to epistemology and the philosophy of language. One of Russell's pivotal contributions lies in his theory of descriptions. Imagine encountering a statement like "the present King of France is bald." Russell, ever the meticulous analyst, questioned the meaning and truth value of such seemingly straightforward assertions. Through his theory of descriptions, he unpacked the intricacies hidden within language. Russell proposed that statements with empty or ambiguous descriptions are neither true or false, but rather lack meaningful content. This seemingly simple insight reverberated throughout the philosophical community, challenging conventional notions of language and truth. To illustrate, consider the statement, "The present King of France is bald." In the absence of a current King of France, Russell argued that the statement doesn't possess a truth value, urging us to scrutinize language with precision. This analytical dissection of language had a profound impact on the trajectory of linguistic philosophy. Russell's ideas paved the way for thinkers like Ludwig Wittgenstein, who further explored the relationship between language, thought, and reality. Wittgenstein, in his later work, acknowledged the debt he owed to Russell's early contributions, solidifying the influence of Russellian philosophy on the linguistic turn in 20th century philosophy. Now, you might be wondering, How does this intricate analysis of language apply to our everyday lives? Consider situations where language can be ambiguous or misleading. By embracing Russell's approach, we can become more adept at clarifying statements, avoiding misunderstandings, and engaging in more precise communication. This level of linguistic clarity becomes particularly crucial in fields such as law, science, and ethics, as we navigate through Russell's exploration of language and epistemology. Remember that these seemingly abstract ideas bear practical implications for how we understand and convey meaning in our daily interactions. Let's now transition to another cornerstone of Russell's philosophy, his metaphysical inquiries and his theory of knowledge. Russell's exploration of metaphysics led him to advocate for a view known as logical atomism. Imagine the world as a vast assembly of atomic facts, simple, irreducible elements that compose the complex tapestry of reality. Russell's logical atomism posits that by decomposing complex entities into these irreducible elements, we can gain a clearer understanding of the nature of existence. Consider a chair. In Russell's framework, a chair is not a singular, indivisible entity, but a collection of atomic facts, this specific arrangement of molecules, the physical properties of the materials, and so on. This reductionist approach aimed to illuminate the building blocks of reality, echoing the principles of logical analysis that permeated his philosophy. Russell's metaphysical inquiries also led him to engage with a prevalent philosophical position of idealism, the notion that reality is fundamentally mental or dependent on consciousness. Russell, however, staunchly opposed this view. He introduced the concept of sense data, the immediate objects of our sensory experiences, as a means to ground reality in the external world rather than subjective consciousness. Consider your perception of a red apple. According to Russell, the redness you perceive is not a mental construct, but a manifestation of sense data derived from the external, physical apple. This shift in perspective aimed to anchor our understanding of reality in the empirical, countering the idealistic currents of his time. How does this metaphysical exploration resonate with our everyday experiences? Russell's emphasis on logical atomism and sense data encourages us to critically assess our perceptions and question the nature of reality. In navigating the complexities of our lives, this analytical approach can foster a more nuanced understanding of the world, enabling us to see beyond surface appearances and engage with the fundamental components that constitute our experiences. As we move forward in our exploration of Russell's philosophy, keep in mind the implications of his metaphysical inquiries for our understanding of reality. Next, we will venture into the ethical dimensions of Russell's thought and explore how his moral philosophy can be applied in practical terms to our everyday lives. Now, let's shift our focus to the ethical dimensions of Bertrand Russell's philosophy. Russell's contributions to ethics extend beyond traditional moral frameworks, incorporating elements of utilitarianism and a steadfast commitment to intellectual freedom. Russell's exploration of ethics was notably influenced by his engagement with G. Moore's Principia Ethica. Moore, a fellow philosopher, advocated for a form of ethical intuitionism, asserting that moral principles can be known through direct, non-inferential intuition. Russell, while initially aligned with Moore, would later chart his own course in the realm of ethics. Russell's departure from ethical intuitionism led him to embrace a form of utilitarianism, an ethical theory that evaluates actions based on their consequences and seeks to maximize overall well-being. His utilitarian stance reflects a commitment to the pursuit of happiness and the alleviation of suffering as guiding principles in ethical decision-making. Russell's utilitarian outlook was coupled with a profound anti-dogmatism, a skepticism toward rigid adherence to moral absolutes. This stance aligned with his broader philosophical approach, characterized by a commitment to critical inquiry and the rejection of unquestioned authority. In the ethical realm, this meant an openness to reevaluating moral principles in light of changing circumstances and new insights. Consider a moral dilemma. Should one act in a way that brings the greatest happiness to the greatest number of people? Russell's utilitarian framework encourages us to weigh the consequences of our actions and strive for outcomes that contribute positively to the well-being of individuals and society. How does Russell's ethical philosophy translate into practical guidance for our daily lives? In navigating moral decisions, we can draw from Russell's emphasis on critical thinking, empirical analysis, and a commitment to the greater good. By approaching ethical dilemmas with a utilitarian lens and a willingness to reevaluate moral principles in light of changing circumstances, we can foster a more nuanced and adaptable approach to moral decision-making. As we continue our exploration of Russell's philosophy, remember that his ethical stance serves as a compass for navigating the complexities of human behavior and societal interactions. Next, we'll delve into Russell's perspectives on social and political philosophy, unraveling his views on pacifism, individual freedom, and civil liberties. Our journey through Bertrand Russell's philosophy now takes us into the realms of social and political thought. Russell's views in these domains were characterized by a commitment to pacifism, advocacy for individual freedom, and a critical engagement with societal structures. One of the defining features of Russell's social philosophy was his unwavering commitment to pacifism. In the turbulent times of the 20th century, marked by two world wars, Russell emerged as a vocal critic of militarism and war. His work Principles of Social Reconstruction articulates his pacifist stance, emphasizing the need for peaceful resolution of conflicts and the rejection of violence as a means of achieving societal goals. Consider the implications of Russell's pacifism in our contemporary context. How might a commitment to nonviolence inform our approach to conflict resolution, both on a global scale and within our local communities? Russell's social and political philosophy also championed the cause of individual freedom and civil liberties. He argued against oppressive governmental strictures that curtailed personal freedoms and sought to establish a society where individuals could flourish without undue interference. In examining Russell's advocacy for civil liberties, we find echoes of his broader philosophical commitment to intellectual freedom. This emphasis on individual autonomy aligns with his rejection of dogmatism in all its forms, whether in ethics or governance. Consider how Russell's advocacy for individual freedom translates into practical terms. How might his ideas influence our understanding of democracy, human rights, and the balance between individual liberties and societal well-being? As we explore Russell's social and political philosophy, it's essential to draw connections to contemporary issues. Russell's critiques of war, advocacy for civil liberties, and commitment to pacifism can serve as a lens through which we analyze and address present-day challenges, whether grappling with questions of social justice, political governance, or global conflict. Russell's philosophy prompts us to critically evaluate the strictures that shape our world. By engaging with his ideas, we can contribute to ongoing dialogues about the pursuit of peace, the protection of individual freedoms, and the responsibilities of societies in fostering just and equitable conditions. As we transition to the next segment of our exploration, keep in mind the resonance of Russell's social and political philosophy in today's complex world. Next, We'll examine Russell's enduring impact on analytic philosophy and his influence on subsequent generations of thinkers. Our exploration of Bertrand Russell's philosophy now turns towards his lasting impact on the trajectory of analytic philosophy. Russell's contributions not only shaped the course of this philosophical tradition, but also influenced prominent thinkers, leaving an indelible mark on the landscape of intellectual inquiry. Russell's legacy within analytic philosophy is closely intertwined with the development of logical positivism. This movement, emerging in the early 20th century, sought to reconcile empiricism with the advancements in logic and mathematics. Russell's meticulous work in these fields laid the groundwork for logical positivism, fostering a more systematic and rigorous approach to philosophical analysis. Consider how Russell's commitment to logical analysis and his groundbreaking work in logic influenced the emergence of logical positivism. The movement's emphasis on the verification principle and the clarification of language owed much to Russell's earlier explorations. Russell's impact extended beyond logical positivism to his influence on key figures like Ludwig Wittgenstein and the thinkers associated with the Vienna Circle. Wittgenstein, initially a student of Russell, absorbed and later diverged from Russell's ideas, ultimately producing his own seminal work, Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. The Vienna Circle, a group of philosophers committed to the principles of logical positivism, drew inspiration from Russell's analytical methods. Russell's influence echoes in their efforts to establish a scientific and empirical foundation for philosophy, emphasizing clarity in language and a commitment to logical rigor. Consider the intellectual evolution of Wittgenstein and the Vienna Circle in light of Russell's influence. How did Russell's ideas serve as catalysts for new directions in analytic philosophy? And how did subsequent thinkers build upon or depart from his insights? As we reflect on Russell's impact on analytic philosophy, we recognize the dynamic interplay of ideas within this intellectual tradition. Next, we'll conclude our exploration by examining the practical applications of Russell's philosophy in our everyday lives. In the concluding segment of our journey through Bertrand Russell's philosophy, let's consider how his ideas can be practically applied to enhance our understanding and engagement with the world. Russell's commitment to logical analysis and critical thinking provides us with valuable tools for navigating the complexities of everyday life. Whether faced with a philosophical puzzle or a practical problem, Russellian logic encourages us to break down complex issues into manageable components, fostering clarity and precision in our thinking. Consider a real-world scenario where critical thinking is essential. How might Russell's analytical methods guide us in approaching and solving challenges, whether in personal relationships, professional endeavors, or societal issues? Russell's utilitarian ethics, centered on the pursuit of happiness and the minimization of suffering, can serve as a guide in our moral decision-making. When confronted with ethical dilemmas, we can draw from Russell's utilitarian framework to evaluate the consequences of our actions and strive for outcomes that contribute positively to individual and collective well-being. Consider a moral decision you've faced recently. How might Russell's utilitarian principles inform your approach to ethical decision-making? And what impact could this have on your actions and relationships? Russell's legacy as a social activist provides inspiration for those seeking positive change in the world. Whether addressing issues of war, civil liberties, or societal inequalities, Russell's commitment to pacifism, individual freedom, and critical engagement with social strictures can motivate us to contribute actively to the betterment of our communities and the broader world. Consider a cause or issue that resonates with you. How might Russell's advocacy for social change inspire your own efforts to make a meaningful impact? As we conclude our exploration of Bertrand Russell's philosophy, remember that the insights gained from this journey extend beyond the confines of academic discourse. Russell's ideas invite us to engage with the world more thoughtfully, critically, and ethically, enriching our everyday lives with the enduring legacy of philosophical inquiry. Welcome back, viewers. Our philosophical journey through the profound ideas of Bertrand Russell has reached its conclusion. Today, we've navigated the intricate landscapes of Russell's epistemology, metaphysics, ethics, and social philosophy. As we wrap up our exploration, let's recap the key insights and reflect on the enduring legacy of this influential thinker. We began by delving into Russell's early influences, tracing the roots of his empiricism and mathematical prowess. From there, we explored his contributions to epistemology and the philosophy of language, unraveling the intricacies of his theory of descriptions and its practical applications in everyday communication. Moving into metaphysics, we dissected Russell's logical atomism and his critique of idealism, discovering how these concepts invite us to reevaluate our perceptions and grasp the fundamental components of reality. Ethics took center stage as we examined Russell's utilitarian framework and anti-dogmatic stance, providing us with tools for moral decision-making and a commitment to individual freedom. In the realms of social and political philosophy, Russell's pacifism and advocacy for civil liberties urged us to consider the practical implications of his ideas in the context of contemporary challenges. Russell's impact on analytic philosophy, logical positivism, and his influence on subsequent thinkers like Wittgenstein and the Vienna Circle underscored the dynamic evolution of his ideas within the philosophical tradition. As we conclude our journey, it's essential to recognize the enduring relevance of Russell's philosophy in our lives today. His emphasis on critical thinking, logical analysis, and the pursuit of truth equips us with tools to navigate the complexities of our modern world. Russell's ethical principles, rooted in the pursuit of happiness and individual freedoms, resonate as we grapple with ethical dilemmas and societal challenges. His social activism inspires us to engage actively in shaping a better future. While our time together has been a glimpse into the rich tapestry of Bertrand Russell's philosophy, the journey doesn't end here. I invite you to continue exploring his works, engaging in discussions, and reflecting on how his ideas resonate with your own experiences and convictions. Before we part ways, I'd like to hear your thoughts. How has this exploration of Bertrand Russell's philosophy influenced your perspective? What aspects resonate with you? And how might you apply these ideas in your own life? If you found this exploration enriching, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your insights in the comments. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and may the pursuit of knowledge be a lifelong adventure.